Mobilizing ankles and feet. Have something that you can wrap over the toes handy. I've gone for a tea towel, but you might use a resistance band. And sit on a surface that's a little bit higher up and as solid as possible. So first of all, we're just going to try and move the ankle. So the leg is outstretched and we're going to have a go. I'll just move myself a bit further back. Leg is outstretched and we're going to have a go at stretching. Just try and create length in the top of the foot rather than curling the toes at this stage. And then pull the toes towards you and try and create length on the underside of the foot. So we're going to keep the hands still. We're going to point the toes and lower the head, lift the chin, pull the toes up towards you. We have 8 of these on each side. Exhale, point. Inhale, lift. The hands are still. You can have the hands behind you if that's better for back support. But the head follows the movement of the foot. We do 8 of these on each side, very slow, relaxed feeling. It ought to feel like you're doing nothing. That's when you know you're doing it right. And the more wonderful space you have in the ribs, between the ribs and hips, the better. We then change sides. And once you've done it once on each side, if you have time, do it a second time, and we're going to bring movement to the spine. Create a slight lifting sensation, just your lower back's got lots of space. And the add-on, hands are still, toes down, chin down, slouch. The spinal bend. Toes up, chin up, stretch the back, get as tall as you can. Toes down, chin down. So this is round 2. You've done 1 on each side, and then you go for round 2, exploring the range of movement. Think length through the foot. You might be able to take a bit of a bow, and you might naturally, over time, get closer and closer to your foot. Inhale, lift, just 8 on each side. Exhale, lower. Should once again feel like you're not particularly doing too much work. You're not even looking for a stretch. That's going to come next. Okay, once you've done 8 on each side, feel free to pause the video if you're watching this draft. We go on to some footwork. So we're going to just try and get the feet warmed up a little bit. Support your back. You can do this one leg at a time if that just suits you more so. And you're going to try and spread the toes and press the toes down against whatever surface you're on as hard as you can and release before you get cramp. If this is quite a crampy move, 1 might be enough. Anywhere between 5 and 10. Let's just do 5 together for the sake of the video. Exhale, spread the toes, press them down and relax before you get cramp. Exhale, spread the toes, press them down. Relax before you get cramp. Let's go again. Exhale, spread the toes, relax them before you get cramp. You get the picture. Same thing, exhale, spread the toes, press them down and release. Same thing on the other side, and then you progress. I'm going to demo the progression on this other side. You see, I've got the heel down. I didn't lift the heel when I did that. That's really asking for trouble. And that gives you the progression. So the progression is spread the toes, press them down, try and lift your heels, and stop before you get cramp. It's incredibly strong. You might need to pull the toes up and just have a moment. As soon as you get strong cramp, you must stop, because the next level cramp is going to take you into some horrendous spasm and you're going to be bruised for a few days and not talk to me ever again. So spread the toes, ball of the foot down, heel lifts, lower back down. I know if your knees don't bend well, this next teaching point isn't helpful, but if they do bend well, closer your foot is to you, the kinder it is. If it's absolutely unbearable, do it with 1 foot on the floor. So can you see my foot? I'm going to spread my toes, do it over here. Strangely enough, you'll be able to see this side. Spread your toes, lift the heel, and it's not quite as intense. So, but ideally building up to do it on the same surface you're sitting on. Next move, we're going to stretch out the front of the hip. So we're going to come towards the edge of whatever you're sitting on, ideally something firm as I've said, and we want to get this knee behind this hip without arcing your back. So this leg can be bent or straight. I'm going to go for straight, that's quite comfortable for me. The hand position is whatever support you need. Might be a lean forward, you might have to play around with this. Just make sure you don't fall off the bed. So hang on to it because you've got one side of your bum probably hanging off the bed slightly. How far back, if this doesn't take you into knee pain, I know you can't see my foot, but how far back can you slide the legs? So you can see what's happening with my thigh. My foot's on the floor, my thigh's going back. I've gone a little bit too far, I can feel pressure in my spine. I'm going to lift my chest up really high, lift my ribs away from my back. My back's actually okay with that adjustment, but if it's not happy, you need to not take the thigh quite so far back. Keep lots of space in the spine, tighten the muscles of the bum. It is my right leg that's down, so my right arm's going to lift up, and I'm going to reach away from the leg that's behind me and reset. If your arm doesn't lift up towards your ear, put your hand on your heart and still get the stretch between the rib and the hip. It's this stretch we're after. Up to 8 stretches. Reach away. And then we do it on the other side. So it might make more sense of what's going on in the back on the other side. So we step across, slide across. I'm going to straighten my leg out because it suits me more so. This leg can be out to the side, it can be bent. Support your back. Get a gap between your ribs and your hips, lock it in with your tummy. My other leg is sliding as far back behind me as I can. I know you can't see that, but you can see, if I move my arms out the way, you can see how my back's changing shape. As long as you're not in pain, well, discomfort even, then it's okay for you. But in an ideal world, I would tuck my tailbone down and look, my back hasn't changed shape. I know I've pulled a funny face, but my leg has gone behind me. And now I can add on the stretch. I'm going to lean away from that leg, left arm's up because it's my left leg that's behind me. I'm going to lean as far away from that hip as I can and reset, leaning the arms coming up towards the back of my ear. And I'm very much enjoying a stretch. I would like your stretch to be enjoyable if that is at all possible. So there's me looking hopefully at the screen. Up to 8. And it's making sure that we don't compress this side too much, so you only lean to where you can. We've got to keep the back in mind when we do all of this stretching. Just in case your back worked harder than you ought to, once you've done your 8, just curl up into ball and take a spine stretch, or if you have a default to release your back, go for it. Long term, by keeping the back still, not letting it move all over from the pelvis and keeping a gap between the ribs and hips, that should look after your back. Let's explore getting into the hip in a different way. So I would like you to take one leg off the side of the bed, and we're going to see if we can drop the knee out to the side. Now, if your knee's comfortable here, but as you drop it out to the side it's uncomfortable, then we need to stop just before the knee gets uncomfortable, and we need to find something to put under your hip. So it could be a cushion. I've used a Pilates ball before. This would not be enough in a normal circumstance, but I can place it just enough to stop my knee dropping down. So if I move that, knee will go a lot further. So we're trying to find a position that doesn't go into pain. This leg is as bent as is comfortable for you, and you're going to lift your chest, turn towards your bent knee, and then lower your chest towards your bent knee. The straighter the back, the more action you'll get on your hip and glute, and that's the idea. So turn and just push towards you can. We're looking for a stretch in the hip. I'm going to move this because that's no good for me. If that doesn't work for you, try a stretch going forward. So you might aim towards your foot, you might aim towards your knee. You just want to find a safe stretch that isn't pulling on the back. If it's pulling on your back is probably rounded. Get a stiff, straight back. And if you're like me and tighten your hips, you won't get very far. So this is enough for me to feel a stretch. I'm just going to move around with it, play around with it, somewhere between 20 seconds and up to a minute. And then we rotate. So we sit very, very tall. Feel free to release this side and do the other side if you feel this hip needs a release first, or you can go straight into the rotation. Lots of back support. We're going in both directions. I'm turning my ribs as far as I can, as if I'm looking behind me, and then I'm changing direction. The taller you sit, the better. Get space for the vertebrae. And just notice if this is loosening, moving, freeing anything up. This should be pleasant. If it's horrendous, stop. The tough thing about this is we're fighting gravity because we're sitting upright. So once we do the lying down stuff, that will be much better. One more each way, and then see how it feels on the other side. Are you still keeping the ribs away from the hips? Let's see what the other side has to say. So, bend the knee. I'm going to lower the foot towards the inner thigh and see how low down the knee will go without knee pain. Maybe get a cushion under the knee, and you want to have it very high up the thigh, close to the bottom, to stop the knee going too low down. And then we're seeing if we can take a forward direction without too much rounding the back. So stiffen the back up, turn towards your knee, see whether you get a decent stretch as you try and go forward towards the knee with a straight back. So feel like you're stretching your tummy, as if you're trying to get your bottom rib pushing towards your knee. Now sit tall, turn towards your foot. See whether that gives you a decent stretch. If you get a stretch from both of them, they're both worth doing. Turn, stretch, turn, and stretch. If you feel safe staying low, you can. If you want to be cautious, you sit up and then you turn. But give your lower back lots of space. Give the spine room. Last two. Feel free to do more if it suits you. And then an upright twist. Once again, just seeing if this gives you anything. This stretches my inner thighs right up towards the groin. It's a pleasant stretch. It doesn't feel like it's pulling anything. Nothing's tugging. There's nothing that just feels a bit wrong. But if it did feel uncomfortable, nipping, pinching, this is not the one for you. So I'm doing 10 rotations. I'm on number 4. Exploring how that feels. Every time I twist, if I think grow taller, pull my ribs up. That should keep the spine safe. Exhale, twist. If you want some Pilates breath, inhale, centre. Exhale, twist. Careful with the neck, no sharp movements with the neck. You don't want you to pull everything in the back. You pull it about here if the neck was not in alignment. Okay, ready to move on? You get to lie down. So I'm going to keep the camera rolling. I'm going to take these out of my reformer. This is a perfect surface for me to do this on. I lied, you don't get to lie down yet. Sorry, we haven't done the footwork. If you have time, the footwork's really worth doing. We'll get one leg out of the way. We're going to try and lock the toes still. You can use it with your fingers if you want. But this is quite good at doing the whole foot. So I've got the heel and the big toe locked still. And I'm going to try and get some movement with the rest of my toes up and down. Take your time. And if when you first do it, there's no movement, just look at your toes, will them into submission. They might not move much, but there will start to be just a glimmer of movement. In all the cases I've worked with so far, everybody's managed a glimmer. But they've had to do it for a while. They've had to stare hard at the toes for a good couple of minutes. And eventually that glimmer of movement starts to improve. Let's go for maximum of 8 if you can bear it. And then we lock the rest of the toes still, and we try and see what movement there is in the big toe. So I'm going to use the tea towel and my hand. It just feels like they stay, they're more under control with the tea towel. If I use just my hand, I would feel like the toes were moving more. So I'm going to try and push my big toe down as far as I can. How far back do you pull the toes? Not excessively. I've got quite a lot of movement in my feet, so you might not want to pull them as far back as I have. And explore the movement. I've taken it one stage further because my toes want to curl under. I'm trying to hold my toes in an anti-spasm stretch. That means I'm trying to straighten these toes out, lose their curl. Pulling lots of faces. One more. If your back was uncomfortable, your hips were uncomfortable, anything uncomfortable, stretch it out before you do the other side. And I found that really beneficial, so I'm going to do the same on this side for the sake of the video. So big toe's going to move first. Pinning the tea towel down, wrapping this over my big toe. And I'm going to hold that big toe as still as I can. Figure out what you can do to keep that big toe still, because it will want to move. And over time, hopefully it will move less. So I find this side a lot harder. Move slowly and under control. I don't want you to strain any muscles in your feet. The other thing I'm doing is my big toe has gone inwards a bit. Trying to correct that. So I'm actually holding it a bit wider, but that won't suit everybody. Toes up, 2 more. And then we'll try it on the securing all the toes except the big toe. Ooh, nowhere near so much movement. Push down, you can do it, big toe. So it's the strength, the big toe connects all the way under the foot. It's quite hard to do in this dorsiflexion position, so if you want your foot a bit flatter, which maybe I should have said on the other side, then feel free. Go for 4 more. Do you need back support? Do you need to pull onto your knee? Are you okay to keep going? Did you manage to reach your feet? 2 to go. There we go, it's really starting to behave now. Oh, I'm going to do 2 extra, sorry. Indulging myself here. Last one. That's really got everything moving nicely. Now you may lie down. Take a little bit of time to get the spine comfortable, so wriggle the hips as much as you need to. Oh, that's nice. So I'm going to ditch my tea towel, don't need that anymore. So whatever the hips need. You might go into flat back, an arch, you might turn the hips side to, you might turn the knees side to side. This is often a popular one. I like to wiggle my hips, one up towards my shoulder, the other up to my shoulder, but I'm actually focusing on the opposite hip, pushing away from my shoulder. Anyway, wriggle and wriggle and wriggle until you get comfortable, and check you are comfortable. I'd like you to work in imprint, and I'm going to take my feet all as wide as my mat, right to the edge. I keep wanting to call it the carriage because I am on the carriage because I'm on the reformer machine. And I would like you to turn your hips as far as you can. Now the shoulders can move. Just do 4 and then we're just going to discuss the back. Now we need to make sure the back isn't taking the stress. So normally what works really well is imprint of the spine. So feet are still wide. Push your tailbone away from you until you feel your lower back softly making contact with the floor. Take a few deep breaths, forced out breaths, so you can notice which muscles are working on your tummy. Do it again. We're trying to switch those muscles on at will to hold your back in imprint. So 2 more breaths if you've not figured out which muscles are working. 1 more. Try and get them to switch on at will. Hang on to that feeling and now rotate. Keep those muscles switched on. The wider apart the feet, the better. Try not to let your back take the stress. And we're maybe going to find a stretch in the front of the thigh, the quad, I do, not everyone will, or the hip. You might get more from this. You turn the hips, check the back hasn't arced away, keep it flat. And this top knee, the one that's in the centre of your mat, push it away from you and tighten the buttock. This is only if you can deal with the deepness of the stretch. Change sides, turn, push the knee away, tighten the bone. Breathe out, stretch the knee away from you. Let's go for 3 more. I'm going to even myself out. Don't worry if you're not working at my pace. You can press pause and work at your own pace. Anywhere between 8 to 10 is a good number. I didn't realise how tight these muscles of my quads were. Very good stretch. Last one for me. Just check when you're lying, and every time you lie, that you get a good gap between your ribs and hips. So if you want to create distance here, do it. I focus on the side of the ribs, and that normally takes care of the whole of the rib cage at the front and the back as well. So I'm going to wriggle this rib away, keep the gap, wriggle the opposite side away. Check the back doesn't mind that, of course. Check the back of the neck is long, and lock in the tummy. Okay, so if the back of the neck can't stay long, if you're like this, you need cushions under your head. We're going to stretch one leg out, press it into the floor, and pull the other knee into the chest. I like you to grab the back of the leg and kick the leg into the hand so you can get some work here in the back of the thigh. We're going to change sides so you can have both feet down again. Pull the leg in, change however suits you. Get the tension in, check the back staying flat as you transition. Stretch the leg. I'm going to stretch my leg just on this bar. And I'm pressing the back of the thigh as close to the floor as I can. Change sides. Worth doing 8 of these, 4 on each side. So I'm trying to stretch the tailbone away from me, keep the spine in imprint, tighten the buttock, press the back of the thigh into floor, press the back of the thigh into hand. Change sides. Pausing in each one to get the best stretch ever until the buttocks tighten. Check the back's flat. Let's go for 2 more. But if you want to do more, go for it. Switch again. And just have a rest for a moment if you want. Grab some water if you want. So I spent a little bit of time just loosening out the hips a little bit. I'd like you to prep your hamstrings now. When you're doing a hip bridge, which is the direction we're going in next, if you've got something under your head and it's taking your neck into a stressed position where you really feel like your head's in that position as you're lifting, sometimes you need to get rid of what's under your head. If you've got some big cushions under your head and they're under your shoulders as well, you might actually get away with it. Just be cautious that it doesn't feel like there's stress on the neck. So you might do a test run and decide where you only lift the bum an inch or 2. Wide leg position. Let's prepare the hamstrings first. So I'd like you to arc your lower back, but don't go into pain. You might be able to get the hands under you, you might not. So I'm just going to press pause a second. Where were we? Okay, sorry about that, I had a knock at the door. Hopefully you kept going. So we're going to go for wide leg hip bridges in a minute, but we're preparing our hamstrings. Feet flat if you can. Use the whole of the foot. I'm going to use my heel because I can't get my feet flat here. Feet as wide as your mat if you're in a Pilates mat. So you've got a slight arc to your back and then you're going to flatten it. A slight arc and flatten it. Now you might feel free to ignore me and just move in a way that suits you and doesn't take you into pain. But to refine this movement, should you be on my wavelength and this makes sense, try it. Instead of thinking roll your pelvis, I would like you to, the arc of your back that lifts, I want you to feel as if you're trying to use your bottom to pull whatever surface you're on, let's call it the mat, to pull the mat up towards your head and then relax. See if that works for you. If it creates stress in your back, it's not for you. Remember, you should have a big gap between your ribs and your hips, so the spine will tolerate it. All it does is it makes the muscles of the bottom work more so, on paper. And then there's always the exception to the rule. Is that you? And relax. slight arc. And this is the position we're going to try and do our hip bridge from if it doesn't take your back into pain. For now, we're not going to do that yet. We're going to just look after the back. So, a normal hip bridge. Ignore everything I said so far for now. If it suits you, tilt your pelvis, pubic bone up first. My lower back's pushing into the floor. And then I'm tightening the buttocks, lifting one vertebra at a time and lowering back down one vertebra at a time. If this feels good and the technique I'm about to suggest doesn't feel good, then please stick with this one. Over time, we're looking at creating height. That's why I've got a wide leg setup, because most of us will be able to engage the glutes a little bit more so, and over time get a little bit more height. We spent a bit of time trying to stretch out the front of the hip, which might limit your height. The feet are still, but I feel like the heels are trying to push the mat towards each other. The heels are trying to push towards each other. That might get the buttocks to work a little bit more. 2 more. Of course, you can do as many of these as you like and make sure the pace you move at is under control. Ribs down, lower back, buttocks. 1 more. Then we're going to try and lift with a stiff back. Please note this comes with a word of warning. This does not suit everybody's back. Very hard to coach on camera. Any discomfort of the spine, stop immediately. We're not trying to force an arc. We're trying to create the tiniest of arches. So I still can't quite get my fingertips all the way under my back. They can go under about ½ an inch. It's the most subtle of arches, just so the back has a little bit of a natural curve. I'm tensing my pelvis towards each other. So if you were to grip something between your inner thighs or try and push your feet towards each other whilst gripping the floor, you might get a sense of that. And then I'm going to try, so there's lots of pressure on my bum against the mat, but nothing under my back, or very little. I'm going to try and lift by pushing into my shoulders and my feet and lower back down. Baby lifts are absolutely fine. And if you get on with it, you might explore going higher and higher and higher. It takes a lot of body awareness to not change the tilt of the pelvis. So this is my pubic bone, these are my hips. Can you see how they're moving around? I don't know how well it's shown on camera. They ought not to. They ought to be completely still and parallel. And as I lift, very hard not to change that position. Press the thigh bones towards each other. We'll only do 1 more. Let's release the shoulders. So first of all, wriggle the pelvis, check the hips okay. Might feel really nice to have 1 or 2 knees. We're going to work in Pilates flat back. So push your tailbone away from you. We're going to lower 1 leg to the floor at a time and try and get the abs to work very strongly. Level 1 is you're holding your knees and pushing the tailbone away. Level 2 is you're going to grab the side of your mat with bent elbows and then push the mat away from you, and you'll feel how your lower back can stay flat. And you're going to exhale, lower 1 toe down. Inhale, bring it back in. Have a rest if you want. If not, you're going to try and build up to 8. Exhale, lower. So it's 8 individual ones, 4 on the right, 4 on the left. Check the stress isn't going into the neck. Have a rest if you want. Go again. Do you need to come down a level, but keep going. Hold onto the knee. Pull it in. That feels so nice. Keeping my back flat. 3 to go for me. Eventually, you don't need the arms and we can keep the pelvis very, very still. But you've got to have the body awareness to make sure the pelvis isn't moving at all. You've got to make sure the lower back's imprinted. But remember, the spine, it gets a lot more health and a lot less pressure if you feel strong. The feeling is stretch your tailbone away rather than push your back down into the floor. If that makes sense. Done all right? Take a quick rest. Do you want to just completely rest and do nothing? Or do the twists feel good? When you are ready for the twists, if you can, you're going to take your arms overhead and just relax them. If it feels too much on the shoulder flexibility, be dramatic. Put your hands on your forehead. Do you know what? I think we might use our tea towel. A physio band, either folded in two so there's a lot of resistance, is ideal, but I know a lot of you won't have them, so let's use tea towel. Let's get the shoulders warm and then we'll stretch those out. So, forearms parallel, tension on the tea towel or the band, and you're going to see with bent arms, can you see my arms are staying equally bent all the time, 90-degree angle at the elbow. You're going to see how far in this direction you can get the arms without the elbows parting. So imprint the back of your ribs, stretch your tailbone away, check the back of the neck is long. Do not go into pain. You'll feel strong on the muscles, but we don't want pain. Exhale, push your ribs into the mat. Take your arms to where you can. There'll be a natural stop. Inhale, reset. You can have a rest or you can keep going. We've got up to 8. Tailbone away. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, reset. If the ribs are coming off the mat, you've gone a bit too far. Push the elbows gently together. Keep the tension on the band. Wow, that's strong. How are you guys doing? Elbows push towards each other. How are you doing at keeping the ribs down? Have you had enough? I'm going for a couple more. I don't know if that's going to take me to 7 or 8. Maybe I'm going a little fast for you. Maybe you want to go slower at your own pace. Absolutely fine. You've got to feel safe. We're going to take this one overhead. We're going to stay there. Feel free to have a rest before you do this. So the hands are going overhead. If it's too strong, you might touch your head instead. You want tension on the band. Elbows go wide. Keep pulling on the band. That should feel very nice. My knuckles are going to go onto the carriage to the mat. Now here's the hard bit. Keep pulling on the band. Get the elbows as close together as you can. They might not get anywhere near together the way mine are. That's also fine. I've been practicing this for a while. Imprint my ribs. I was arcing my back. Tension on the band. 5 of these will probably be enough. If the shoulder says no chance, you stop or find a range of movement that's doable. 2 more. I'm going to breathe out as the elbows go together. Tailbone away, imprint the spine, pull on the band, pull on the tea towel, exhale. Inhale, release. We're working against tightnesses in our own body, or maybe even trauma if there's been injury. Last one. Elbows wide. How do you want to come out of this? Normally, no tension on the band, elbows in, tends to be the safest way to come out of it. That was strong. Stretch one leg along the mat. I've got the bar. I don't want you to have the bar. Reach one arm out. Bend your knee. So, opposite hand to leg. So, right arm out, right leg in the air. Opposite hand to leg. You're going to try and lift that bum cheek up and off the mat and see how far you can twist and then come back in. We want to stretch here. So check that your armpit has pushed down to the floor. And if you don't feel a stretch, your arm was probably here. Slide the arm along the floor, further up towards the diagonal. Exhale, twist. Take your time. Scoop your tummy. And check the back isn't arcing into that gymnast shape. No gymnastics today. Push your tailbone away. Breathe out. That will make the abs keep the back in the position. 3 more, please. Last one. My straight leg is really energized, by the way. Reset. Other side. This is our last move. Take a little bit of time to get as much space between the ribs and the hips as you can. Twist. And reset. Pushing foam rolling my calf on this foot bar. I can guarantee a mat is much more comfortable. Hips on the side. I'm probably going a little fast. Please work at your own pace. Are you getting a stretch? You need to change your arm position. Armpit to floor. Ribs in print. No tension in the neck. Hand to the side of the thigh. Last one. Reset. Give your knees a hug if that feels good, or stretch out, or release your back. You have survived, I hope. So thanks for joining me. I hope the coaching made sense. Always go slow enough to not go into pain. Really well done.